There it is. What up, ladies and gents? We get to talk about my favorite subject, the power of podcasting. So if you've ever considered it, or if you're in business and you don't do any media stuff, then you should consider it. So this episode is for you.
Shut up and sit down.
Is your business in need of customers? Then you found the right show. Hernan Cias is the business bro, and he makes getting customers fun and easy. Watch, listen, and learn as each episode is designed to sell. Welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. All right, let's do this thing, ladies and gents. Who do we got on the show today? Well, if you want to learn how to monetize your podcast, then today's guest is exactly who you want to listen to, because he's all about that podcast life, just like me. Our guest believes in helping speakers, coaches, consultants to establish their platform and make money from their podcast. Now, he shares real life tactical things that you can do to start making money from your podcast today. And I'm excited to start talking podcasting with a fellow podcaster. So let's welcome to the show, best-selling author, two-time TEDx speaker, and host of your podcast mentor show, Jonathan Jones. Bro, when you come on this show.
Man, I love the intro, love the energy, love what you have going on here, and I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here tonight, honestly.
All right, man. Well, let's get to it. Podcasting. First, I got to ask the most generic question, but it's also one of the most important.
Why are you doing this?
Because I want to know.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah. So for me, honestly, I believe that there's so many people who have stories and who have a voice who maybe have not shared it just yet, but I'm passionate about doing it because I know that if one person shares their story, or if another person shares their story, then they have the they have the ability to impact millions of people and change so many lives. So I'm encouraging people to get that message out, to share that voice, so that ultimately we can help heal and uplift people together.
Dude, that's really what it comes down to, is getting your message out there. I mean, I got into podcasting because of Gary Vee, right? Gary Vee was saying, look, if you are in business, you need to be a media company first, everything else second. I tried the video thing, took forever to do video editing, wasn't really my thing. So I was like, all right, well, let's try this podcast thing. Committed to 3 years of every single day doing it. And I mean, we're on episode 918. It has dramatically changed my life, dude. I've interviewed like over 700 different entrepreneurs. I've learned so much from so many people. I've created a vast network. I mean, other than that, I mean, there could be more things, right? And literally there are more opportunities out there. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the opportunities are endless with podcasting, and even as the industry is evolving. But first of all, with you putting out 900 plus episodes, that makes you an alien, like legitimately. there are very, very few people who have done that. But then people who are just getting started, it's still not too late to get into the industry because it's evolving. Different companies are picking it up. So yeah, man. I mean, people need to get started. But also just understanding that the opportunity to impact people wherever starts now.
Yeah, you get an opportunity to be around the world. We no longer have distribution issues. You literally can create a piece of content and put it out there, and wherever it jives, it jives. All right, well, let's talk about what you do, Jonathan.
What do you do?
What do you do, man?
Yeah, so I've coined myself as your podcast mentor, because I love just to help, not just help podcasters start, launch, monetize, because I know that's something that you hear a lot of people say. See a lot of people selling courses around that same topic, but I like to develop podcasters. So, going in, helping them really understand what it looks like to have a great show, and even just what it looks like to be able to create a platform, so that by way of you having this platform, now you've built an audience and now you really can serve people at a high level. So I do that through my podcast coaching. I do that through my podcast, your podcast mentor show with Jonathan Jones. And man, I also do that just through my YouTube channel. So just sharing information and really coaching people to help them develop so that they can really, so that they can really have a profitable podcast. But then also, in addition to that, they can have a vehicle and a platform to really be able to serve many more people.
I heard Grant Cardone say that if you have any extra income, rather than blowing it on buying a house or anything like that, right? You should invest in yourself, build your brand, because that's something nobody can take away. You can create this persona of yourself, this image of yourself, this trustworthiness person, somebody who shows up on a regular basis, who brings value consistently. Like that's really what you're investing in when you're creating content. When you talked about, committing to this and developing, one of my favorite things that you get to develop as you create content over and over and over again is the long tail effect. When people Google my name, holy crap, I own like the 7 pages of Google. When they Google my podcast, it's page after page of content that we've created. Like, I don't think people quite understand the benefits of creating content every single day, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think people have really allowed just what you said with the long tail effect to really apply to themselves, right? They might hear it, they might say, "Oh, that applies to somebody else. That doesn't necessarily apply to me." And that's the part where where strategy comes into place. Just like what you're doing a great job with you all show is creating opportunities for business owners and different individuals to get their message out, but also by them getting the message out and by you all sharing the content, now people are going to find you, right? So the same thing applies to so many other people. And then they just have to make sure that there's a strategy in place, just like you found your strategy. I found my strategy by way of doing podcast news, podcast how-tos, and then also interviews as well, because by doing this with the how-tos, I know that there's going to be people looking for how to set up your podcast, how to find the best microphone, how to grow your show, whatever it is. So then as they keep searching for me over time, then they're going to start to find other videos and find other areas to where I can continue to serve and support them.
Isn't it funny how you stumble upon things as you're doing them, right? Like my very first episode compared to today, night and day. The first one's trash, right? Like but you still got to go out and do it. You got to go out and find your voice, find your energy, find who you are, find your messaging, how you create. Like now my marketing stuff is like way on point. I mean, everything from how you book your show, like how you book your episode on my show, to the email campaigns, to the text message campaigns, to like all those things. Like, exactly what we do. You know that we're in the marketing space. We do video testimonials. We do paid ads. You come to the show. I try to provide one of the best experiences you've ever had on a podcast. And then at the end, you're like, you know what? Maybe I should do content with those guys. You know what? Maybe I should let that guy do my video testimonials. You'll probably get the best energy out of my clients. You know what? Maybe they should do my paid ads. But it starts with that relationship. Like I remember trying to get somebody to do like a 5-minute, 20-minute conversation over a cup of coffee. Everybody said no. But as soon as I shifted over into like, hey, do you want to be a guest on my podcast? And then I'll give you the content so you can use on your social media. They were like, hell yeah, I want to do that. Like it's a different dynamic, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a different dynamic, because now, in the sense of going to coffee with somebody, that might be the perfect time where somebody's like, no, I'm not going to go because you want to quote unquote pick my brain. But when you say, I would love to interview you on my show, now you're leading with an offer and you're leading with an ask for them to directly benefit. So now, by doing podcast interviews and hosting other individuals, now people are seeing the benefit, and just like you said, you all have a great experience. The email campaigns on point, branding's on point, the text messages on point. You all even text me happy birthday. So man, y'all got it going.
I mean, dude, and that's what it is. It's a matter of staying in contact. If you're in business, it's the idea that when you have a problem, that you want to think of that individual. So how do you do that? You got to show up on a regular basis. I mean, every business owner is going through some sort of problem. So let's talk about that. What problems are you solving?
Hey, we've got a problem here.
Yeah. Everyone is facing problems, and for starting out podcasters, or even some who might be more experienced podcasters, these are individuals who are like, people can't find my show. I want to grow my show. And the fact is, it's not people can't find your show. Just like you said, you're not offering a solution that people are looking for. Period. Everybody has problems every single day. But if you're not providing a solution, then you're not going to help get the people that you're looking to find. So that's one thing I help people do, is I help them be a clear-cut choice for the solution, because I help people show up in a big way and how they can be an expert in their field and in their arena. But in addition to that, one of the other things is I've been speaking for 6+ years, going to colleges and universities and speaking to student athletes. And I've realized over that time is that there comes a point in time to where if you're not speaking, then it's going to be really difficult for you to be able to have to earn the opportunity to speak in front of an audience who's never met you, never seen you, never heard of you. So helping these individuals start podcasts, now I'm giving them the opportunity to where they can say, hey, look, this is an example, or this is a sample of my speaking or my experience. So now after you see this, now you can get a better idea of what I'll bring to your campus or your school or wherever it might be. So helping people, cancel out that discovery issue and then help people become a force to be reckoned with in their industry. Those are the problems that I'm solving currently.
Dude, and it's awesome because you also build confidence, right? I was not a very confident speaker. As a matter of fact, I know early on, somewhere in the first like 60 or 70 episodes, my brother and I grabbed this glass jar and I gave him a stack of quarters. He and I had a stack of quarters, and that glass jar had its own microphone. And what we would do is anytime we heard each other say or okay or some sort of filler word, we drop a quarter, cling, cling, cling. And we literally are correcting our own speaking habits as we're doing the show. You're getting more confident. You're developing a speech pattern. You're finding out your lines, things that resonate with you. The same type of pillars or core values that you have, you start establishing them over time as you talk to more and more and more people, as you get behind the microphone. You get more comfortable being behind the camera. I mean, all those things, those are all great problems that you're helping basically anybody who wants to build a brand. That's what you're doing. So who is this ideal client? If somebody's going to work with you, they're like, you know what, maybe I'm ready to start a podcast. Who is this ideal client?
I am looking for qualities beyond the physical.
So the ideal client for me would be the individual who is newly in business, right? Like they're just starting a business, or they're the individual who, just like I said, they've been speaking and now they're like, I want to further get exposure, because this was my story, right? After I was speaking for a few years, I was looking around and then I was not getting engagements. So they're the individual who is looking for a way to elevate that exposure. So probably right around like that 30, 35 range. And, they're out here, they're looking to get more exposure. They're looking to find a way to really put their voice out there. And then even just like you alluded to earlier, they may not be as confident speaking. They may not even know that they want to speak. And that's one thing I tell my clients that are a part of my mentorship now. I say, I secretly am going to make each and every one of you all into a speaker. That's my selfish, that's my selfish desire, because I know that when they really get that confidence and when they really start getting going, they're really going to be able to impact people once they step from behind the mic and then once they step up to the stage.
Yeah. And plus, I mean, it's really good practice. Like, you really got to think about it, right? Even if your podcast isn't super great, let's say you get 25 people who download your episode or whatever, right? That's 25 people. Like, walk into a room, stand up and talk to 25 people at one time. It is not the easiest thing to do, right? But the podcast gives you the opportunity to do that. And if your podcast continually progresses, then it's not just 25 people. It's 25 people that maybe downloaded your audio, and it's 15 people who watched you on Facebook, and it's another 30 people who watched you on YouTube, and it's another 3 or 4 people that watched you on Twitter, right? And then another 10 people on LinkedIn. All of a sudden, you're standing up and having a conversation with 100, 150 people who now know who you are, what you do, and they're building trust. I had this guest on my show that told me that there's 4 phases, right? When you first decide that you're going to create a brand or you're going to create something for yourself, first you're invisible. Nobody knows who you are, right? You're in business. Nobody knows who you are. Then you start to create content. You start to do stuff. You become visible, right? Now, all of a sudden people see you. They're like, who's this guy? I've seen him a couple times. He popped up on an ad. Like, I've seen this guy. Then as you continue to show up on a regular basis, you become credible, right? Now people are like, I see you, you're here consistently on a regular basis. You're talking about business the whole time, or your real estate, whatever it is that you're talking about. Okay, maybe I do trust you. You're going to show up. And then the last part is profitability, right? Then you become profitable. So that's the path that we all have to take. And there are shortcuts that you can take, things that'll propel you to that profitability zone a lot faster. And it comes with mentorship, right? So what are you doing right now to acquire these customers?
Yeah. So right now, first of all, I really love how you just broke down those 4 phases. That's genius. And right now, I'm in the space to where I'm currently putting on webinars. So every week, well, every 10 days, I'm doing a training for the most part, and I'm doing this training to where I'm showing people literally how I was able to take my business, and I was able to generate just 21K in a couple of months from home.
Nice.
Through speaking. So, doing that training, showing people what that looks like. But then I'm also doing some of the things that my coach refers to as unscalable things. And from time to time, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, wherever it might be, and I'm going to slide in people's DMs, and I'm going to let them know, hey, thanks for following me. Thanks for connecting with me, because having a podcast, people are going to follow my page, especially being active. So I let them know, thanks for following me. Thanks for connecting. And if I see that they're a speaker, they're a coach, or they're a consultant, which typically these are things that people put in their bio, then I say, hey, I checked out your page. It looks like you're doing great work. I just wanted to let you know I'm doing a free training coming up, and I think it'd be a benefit to you. And so doing the unscalable things, right? Connecting with people one-on-one and building one fan at a time, one follower at a time. So doing those things to connect with the people, and coming back to what you said earlier about relationships, because I'm all about relationships, and I'm all about over delivering, because my group of mentees that I work with in my mentorship program, I'm always just pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring, because I know at the end of the day, the best way to get somebody into a program is going to be for them to be referred by somebody else.
Yes.
So that's really what my focus is, just really adding value in that way, and then making sure that I see to it that they get success. Even though I know that that's a really hard thing to say, I want you to get more success than I've ever seen, but I'm showing up, and these are dedicated individuals. These are driven individuals. So, just doing that's what we're focusing on right now.
Dude, I love that. By the way, Adrian says you got some fresh glasses, bro.
Thank you.
But dude, man, so you were talking about, creating that value, right? Coming up and showing up. And then the best way that you're going to get a client is as a referral, dude. I literally live that on our show. I mean, you're seeing the video clips that are popping on. The reason why we do that is because at the end of the show, I give you the full audio, full video, and it saves you time in post edit. So you can literally go through and take a segment from each piece, and now it's a piece of content, right? And that's super awesome. That's something that we developed over time in our show. One of the text messages that you're going to get after the show is, hey, that episode we just did? That's awesome. Would you like me to create like a 3-minute sales video? Which is all the answers that you already gave me on the show, right? I mean, and all these things that I'm sharing with you, right? The other thing we do is paid ads, right? Do you want to do paid ads? You want to get in front of more people? You literally found me on a Facebook ad. I mean, that's how you found me, right? So do you want to do Facebook ads or Google ads? Do you want to get your company in front of more people? And then the last thing we do is video testimonials, because nothing is better, like you said, than a referral. Like literally when somebody says, if I tell you how awesome I am, you're going to look at me like I'm one arrogant, narcissistic piece of crap. But if my customer tells you how awesome I am, totally different ball game. All of a sudden, that's exactly who you want to work with. So speaking of that process, tell me a little bit about what your sales process is like.
Certainly. I love these clips. so my sales process ultimately, once I get the individuals into the webinar, like I said, we add the value, and then following that, I create the opportunity for me to work with them and for them to work with me. And I always let people know that everybody is not a fit for the program, right? So after that, then, we'll hop on a call. I walk them through, talk about, why they feel like the program will be a good fit for them after we accept them in, if they are accepted, then I welcome them into the program. And the part that I really love the most is seeing them join the program. And then after they join, then giving them a welcome in the group, because I know that my podcast community isn't the only podcast community in the world, but I do believe that I can create the best experience possible. So I love to give, welcome them in, tell everybody else that's already a part of the program, welcome such and such, you just joined. And then even outside of that, giving them a shout out on social media, because I want people to feel the love, because I know you can spend money anywhere, but when you make an investment in this program and in yourself, I always want people to realize that I appreciate that investment and I don't take it for granted. So that's really what my process looks like, front to back, just in terms of the sales process and then just the onboarding as well.
Dude, and let me answer a question here, because Adrian had the question: how do you guarantee a referral? And I don't know about you, I can't really guarantee a referral, but I can guarantee a system that will get you more referrals and more booked appointments. So let me share with you, this is what I do, because you mentioned earlier that you like to slide into people's DMs, right? I love it too, but I actually do a video DM. So one of the things I do, and this is one of the best ways right now, I use it with my car wrap clients. So we run Facebook ads for paid ads for people who are in the car wrap business. And so some people come on and they answer a couple questions, but they kind of die off. And I hop on the video DM and I'm like, hey man, look, the only reason why you want to work with me is because you want results. And the only way I can prove to you results is by showing you what I'm already doing with other customers. So I'm going to drop a video testimonial below. And if this is the same, if you want similar results, then we should talk. Right. And then I send that video on their DM. I drop the testimonial video, and all of a sudden I get a ping back like, yes, I definitely do. Right. So then I send them my calendar link and boom, appointments. That's what I've become a master at, setting appointments. I mean, our show books out so far in advance, 10 weeks in advance. Literally, the appointment book is what I thrive on. It's the opportunity. In your experience, when people are building their podcast, don't they get more opportunities that land on their feet because they're creating this type of content?
Most definitely. And that's the thing that I think people miss a lot. A lot of times I think people miss those opportunities because they stop. They stop the podcast after 6 episodes, after 10 episodes, nobody's listening. And just to the point that you shared earlier, it's if you have 10 people listening, and these are 10 people that when you drop a link or you tell them to send you a message or comment on a photo or leave a comment on your YouTube, and then these people do those asks, those people, those 10 listeners are more valuable than 100 listeners that aren't doing anything.
You're super fans.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. They're definitely super fans. So understanding that when you just remain consistent, then you get those opportunities. And then you have super fans that then go out and tell other people, and then they're converting other people into super fans as well. So that's the thing people have to understand. In any business, in every business, if you're not consistent and you don't create that unique connection, just like you said, sliding into the DMs with the video. And then, like I said, sliding into DMs, because I like to do the audio. But this is ways to where we're creating a degree of separation and ways to where we're creating our unique connection with people.
Yes.
And that's how you have to win. You just find a way that gives you the slightest advantage and then drill down on it.
And that's it. And it's funny that you talk about, those 10 fans that are super powerful. Those are your super fans. Because every business, we've been conditioned to think that you need 1 million followers, right? That you need hundreds of thousands of followers to be successful. And that's just not true. I mean, if you had 1,000 true super fans, right? Even 100 true super fans, you could be generating some real serious revenue. And you don't need millions of people. You need a few core people that you've built a real relationship with. And that's where the grinding works, right? This is where you're sending those DMs. This is where you're making those connections. This is where you send them their birthday messages. Like, that's how you're going to build that relationship. You comment on their stuff. That's how you do it. That's the struggle I think people are missing out on, is you assume because you put an episode out there that the world is going to find you. And it just doesn't work that way. It takes a little more grit, a little more stuff that you got to do. Now, you got something coming up to teach people how to get paid with podcasting. So tell me a little bit about your
I'm giving away free money.
promos.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I have the Get Paid with Podcasting webinar coming up. It's just at getpaidwithpodcasting.com. And there I'm literally pulling the cover back and I'm sharing information. I'm sharing information that a lot of people don't want to give away. So I'm sharing 3 hacks. First of all, let me rewind. I'm sharing my podcasting process. So that helps a lot of people to just eliminate that level of fear, or at least to limit that level of fear about podcasting. So we do that up front. And then I get into sharing these 3 secrets that have helped me, just like I said, leverage my podcast to generate that 21K in that 1 month. But in addition to that, I've still been able to duplicate or replicate the process since then. So I'm going to be diving in, sharing that information coming up in that training, because I want more people to podcast. In 2020 or 2021, I get the years confused. Podcasting revenue generated just over $1 billion. And by 2025, it's projected to be 3.2 billion. And people right now are literally missing out on printing money because they're fearful and they're afraid and they're uncertain. And I understand that. But at the end of the day, would you rather be afraid and do it anyway and get the benefit, or would you rather be fearful and be in the same spot 2 years later? I wouldn't want to be that person.
Dude, that's so harsh, dude, but that's the reality. Billy Jean is marketing out here in San Diego. I listen to his podcast, and one of the things he says to ask entrepreneurs is, have you been in business for 5 years, or have you just been repeating the same year of business 5 times? Right? Like, you want to be improving. You want to be getting better. You've been in business for 5 years. You better have gone from 0 to hero to some sort of degree, right? And even then, we're going to hit plateaus and we're going to get stuck at certain points. And that's the beauty, again, of having a podcast. Because I've interviewed people who are just at the beginning of their entrepreneurial space, and others that have sold their companies for hundreds of millions of dollars, in buyouts, like all of the spectrum. And you get the opportunity to ask questions, to get yourself out of that plateau, out of that spot, into that next level directly from the horse's mouth, dude. I mean, that's awesome right there. All right, last little thing, dude. All right, so we mentioned that you got the getpaidwithpodcasting.com. We also have your social media up here, and we have your website, yourpodcastmentorshow.com, scrolling at the bottom. But I want you to tell me all that, because it's going to come right after this transition. Say hello to my little friend. How do people get a hold of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. First of all, just like I said, yourpodcastmentorshow.com is the best way, because I've even made it to where people can go in and they can leave a voicemail. So you can submit your question and I can answer your question on the show. And you can do that at yourpodcastmentorshow.com. We have all my social media links, all the episodes there, and everything is there. So that's one of the best ways to get a hold of me. But then also, just in terms of social media, we have, on Instagram, I'm Jonathan Jones Speaks. And for the most part, everywhere else, I'm Jonathan Jones Speaks. So I would just encourage people to reach out. Let me know what really resonated with you with this episode, with this show, or, what questions do you have? Because at the end of the day, our success is just on the other side of asking the right questions. So shoot your shot.
That's right. 100%. All right, dude, you ready? My turn to see if I understood what you're offering. So it's time for me to.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
All right, ladies and gents, here's what it comes down to. My mentor, Gary Vee, basically said, if you're in business, then you need to be a media company first, everything else second. And he's damn right. If you are invisible, if nobody knows you exist because you just opened your business or you're trying to grow, then you need to create content. And one of the best and easiest ways is a podcast. And We got Jonathan on the show today, getpaidwithpodcasting.com. He's going to offer you a free webinar where you're going to sit down and you're going to learn exactly the process that he does so that he can take his podcast from 0 to a bunch of listeners and monetizing. So if you're ready to start taking your business to the next level, means stop being invisible, become visible, become credible, and then of course profitable, then you need to getpaidwithpodcasting.com. Go to getpaidwithpodcasting.com, set up your appointment with Jonathan. If you want directly, go to yourpodcastmentorshow.com and change your life. It's drastically changed mine. What do you think, Jonathan? How'd I do?
That's it. You hit the nail on the head 100%. If I was your teacher, 100%, man. And bonus points for style.
Nice, brother. Nice. All right. I got 2 more questions for you. These are my only selfish questions. You're in podcasting as well as creating content and marketing stuff. What did you think of our marketing process? What do you think? Give me a grade. What do you think of our marketing?
I mean, like I told you before, I think you all do a grade A job. You do a grade A job. One, because you're creating a platform for other business owners, entrepreneurs, whomever it might be, to share their message. But then also, just like you said earlier, so everything that you've said, you do, just in terms of staying relevant, like you stay front of mind. The follow-up is A1. And just like you said, with the aspect of the media company piece, and you all are creating opportunity for people to, further their message through media outlets, et cetera. So A again. I mean, and usually I'm pretty harsh. So A.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I'll take the A. I'll take it. That's what I'm looking for. All right. Last thing, man. You said it. You said the best way to grow your stuff is through referral business. What we do is definitely video testimonials. And I can't say anything if I'm not practicing what I preach. So at the end of every episode, I always ask, what was your experience like on the Business Bros?
Phenomenal experience. I really loved everything about it because the show is super amazing. Just with the engagement, and you're switching up here, you're switching up there. So keeping me locked in, asking questions that's beneficial for the audience, as well as asking questions that's beneficial for the guests. So if anybody is considering being a guest, don't consider it. Sign up. And make sure that you get accelerated on the list. That's all I'm going to say. But you heard it here first from your podcast mentor, Jonathan Jones.
Thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate it, man. All right. As you're talking, I was thinking to myself, dude, I should probably ask another question in here. I should probably throw a question in here. Something like, you are an entrepreneur. There is something in your business that you're struggling with right now, like every other entrepreneur. So if there's somebody listening, maybe they have the solution. What do you need help with in your business?
Right now, the thing I need help with most, and I have the contacts to reach out and to do it, but it's just writing out SOPs. So writing out my standard operating procedures and then being willing to pass it off to somebody else for them to do. That's the biggest struggle for me, because my business is my baby, and it's like I want to keep it close to chest, but I need to just write it out and then let it go. So that's where I am in my business right now.
Oh, that's scary, man.
Yeah.
Standard operating procedures, by the way, SOPs, standard operating procedures are the way that you scale. It's how you grow as a business, because you can't do everything yourself. But yes, it is scary. Jonathan, hey man, thank you very much for coming on the show, taking the time to come on. Podcasting is the shit, ladies and gentlemen. If you start and you get into it, I promise it will change your life. It'll open up doors you never even knew existed, plus the windows, and you can raise the roof off that bitch, because that's really what's going to happen with your life if you get into that space. Jonathan, you agree?
Yes, sir. Without a doubt. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
All right, man. Ladies and gents, we'll see you guys again mañana. Peace. And we're out.
Thanks for watching The Business Bros. If you're ready to get more clients and want to work with The Business Bro, visit our website, www.businessbros.biz, and click on the Need More Customers button, or learn how to generate more referrals with our video testimonial packages. Go to www.businessbros.biz and start getting more customers.